like you got that Hunger Games quote past me. I saw that and I do not appreciate it. Kinda. What's up, Shadowhunters, Angels and Darmodders alike, and welcome to episode 2 of First Thoughts for episode 2 of Shadowhunters season 3. This was my favourite episode. This was like, I can't even put into words how much I loved this episode. When they said that it was a Malec centered episode, I thought, okay, it's gonna be like the first date episode where there's gonna be like Malec like dashed throughout it, and there's gonna be like bits and pieces, and it's just gonna be a wee bit. No, literally like every other scene in this episode was Malec, and I fucking loved it. It wasn't just like, you know, sappy romantic stuff. It was like serious shit going on. Like they were going out on like, they were doing like wee missions together, and they were like sorting shit out. And then there was also the dramatic moments when Alec found out who Magnus's father was or is, and it wasn't all just like, you know, it wasn't all like the first date episode where it was like, oh, Malec relationship. No, it was like, oh, Malec relationship. Yes, Malec, you slay. Oh my god, they're on a friggin' mission and they could get caught together, and oh, Alec doesn't care who Magnus's dad is. It's beautiful. There was loads of different emotions going on throughout this episode. A lot of it related to Malec. And I can't have first thoughts without that being my first thought. Weirdly enough, I actually had multiple dreams last night where I was convinced when I woke up that I'd already watched the episode. So I almost didn't watch this morning, and I almost like, I literally, like, I'm being serious, like I was up and I was nearly downstairs and I was like, have I watched it? Like I had like this whole scenario in my head about what happened in the episode because I viewed it in my head in my dream. So I almost didn't watch it this morning, which I'm glad I figured out I hadn't done, because as I said, one of the best episodes of Shadowhunters in general. Not just for the Malec stuff, but majority for the Malec stuff. So what was going on in this episode? Well, we got to meet Lorenzo Ray finally. Lorenzo Ray is portrayed by Javier? Or is it pronounced Javier? I'm sorry, I don't know. Is it Javier? I'm gonna say Javier. If I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. It's portrayed by Javier Munoz, I think it's pronounced. If I'm wrong, I am very, very sorry. I did not mean to do it wrong. And we knew that he had been part of the cast of Hamilton, and he had been cast a while back for season 3. I'm not sure if it was released last year or this year that he was going to be a part of it, but we knew that he was going to be in it. We knew he was going to be a rival warlock, and we found out that his name was Lorenzo Ray. So something that I noticed very quickly when Javier was announced as being part of the show, a lot of people were like immediately loving Lorenzo's character before you even knew what his motivations were, what he was up to. And I think a lot of Hamilton fans were kind of like clouding their judgment on Lorenzo and mixing him up with Javier's character in Hamilton. I've never seen Hamilton, so I don't know who he plays, but I know a lot of people fucking love Hamilton, so I kind of figured that a lot of people were letting their love of Hamilton like already make their decision on their opinion on Javier's character. But as we found out in this episode, Lorenzo is a piece of work. He's not exactly a bastard. I wouldn't say that he's a big bad villain. I wouldn't say that he's going to be like the antagonist of the series or anything like that, or a sub-antagonist or anything like that. I do think that he is genuinely trying to do his job, but I do think he has a grudge against Magnus, and that's why he immediately just sort of came up to him and was like, it's your fault, you did the ley lines, so you're trying to mess me up. That kind of thing. I don't think that comes from villainous intent, but I do think it comes from a place of jealousy and like spite and pettiness, and it was kind of ironic because he called Magnus petty. But we also have to consider the fact that Magnus is kind of petty towards Lorenzo as well, because Lorenzo was voted to replace him, which is kind of understandable enough, But as Alec pointed at the end of the episode, they're going to have to get along because Lorenzo is now the High Lord of Brooklyn. He's going to be working in the cabinet. He's going to be a large part of what goes on, especially now that Lilith is here and she is stirring shit up. So I do think that this is going to turn into one of the scenarios where he starts off as a piece of work. Maybe he continues to be a piece of work. Maybe he'll be the character that you love to hate. We don't know. But he is going to be helping them. He doesn't have, like, as I say, he doesn't have villainous intent. He doesn't want to stir shit up or cause shit. He wants to fix the problems. He's just sort of letting his judgment on Magnus kind of cloud that, which is kind of a problem, but as long as Magnus and Alec are together, they'll beat that shit down. So yeah, I really like Lorenzo. I like the fact that he's not black and white like all the other characters. I like the fact that he's not entirely bad, because that was pointed out last week. Someone said that they didn't want Lorenzo just to be a big bad villain who does villainous things and is the villain, bad warlock villain. And I understand that. I do think that it is quite boring when people are just evil for the sake of being evil. If it's done right, it can be done right. But I like the fact that Lorenzo is not just evil for the sake of evil. He's trying to do good. He just sort of lets a couple of his opinions and such cloud what could be, what are, I'm going to say, important decisions. But as an entrance to the character, I am loving Lorenzo Ray. I am loving Javier's portrayal of Lorenzo, and I can't wait to see more of him. So let's get into the Malec. Let's talk about the beautiful Malec of this episode. We got everything in this episode. We got domestic Malec, we got battle boyfriend Malec, we got emotional Malec, we got friggin' I'll support you no matter what Malec, we got friggin' James Bond spy Malec. It was beautiful. All of the Malec in this episode was just perfect. And I just loved every second of it. I found myself even like, I was even chuckling and laughing to myself when like they were both in like Lorenzo's mansion, and like they were like giving each other looks and going like and like shit like that. I thought that was brilliant. I thought I loved that. It was great seeing Alec pretend that he was like betraying Magnus or whatever, and Lorenzo actually bought into it, and it was great to see him actually pretend to be interested in anything that Lorenzo was saying when he looked like he had no fucking clue. But I will give him credit for this. He was better at it than he was at flirting with the police officer in season 1, if anyone remembers him trying to do that. But I just loved seeing them work together. Like, we've seen them go out on missions together, but we haven't actually seen them for an extended amount of time actually working through a mission, and you know, all the little, I don't know how to explain it, all the bits and pieces that went into like completing the mission. And like, as I said, I loved the looks they were giving each other. I just loved that it was so funny at the same time. It was an OTP's dream. It was beautiful. I loved that scene in the mansion. It was funny, it was dramatic, it was just brilliant. I thought, whoever wrote that, kudos, because that was really well done. But as I said, we also had some dramatic moments. We found out that Magnus's father is Asmodeus. Asmodeus, did I pronounce that right? I don't know. Magnus's father is Asmodeus, and he is a greater demon. He's a prince of hell, actually. Not just a greater demon, he is a greater demon, prince of hell. And Magnus refrained from telling Alec this because he was worried about what his opinion on would be. Like, would he think less of him? Would he think he was a bad guy? That kind of thing. And yeah, we all know where that can come from, because it seems like it's the sort of thing that Magnus has been judged on in the past. Lorenzo, that's where his opinion comes from. Friggin' like, your dad's evil, so you must be evil too. Like what logic is that? I don't know. But that's where Lorenzo's prejudice comes into. He thinks that Magnus is like his father, and he's just like, nope. But Alec instead was just like, I don't care who your father is, you're not like a father. Which is just great. Last week we got the you need to tell me everything that you're feeling, bitch. And now we're getting the I don't give a fuck who your father is, bitch. I love you. It's perfect. And then at the end, they were doing their angelic core shit, and fucking Raj locked them out. Fucking Raj. Why does people like Raj? I've talked about this before. Raj has barely said an entire, like, at least a paragraph of words in the last 3 seasons, and yet people loved him from season 1. Why? He didn't do anything, and he was a dick in season 2 as well. And he's been a dick in season 3, and you know what? He's fucking banished, and I'm not fucking sorry. He put himself in that situation. He fucked it up. You know what? That's his problem, alright? I don't like Raj, alright? I don't like Ollie, and I don't like Raj. Then go fuck off. Banish Ollie next, please, while you're at it. Thanks. But yes, Magnus brought the ley lines to the angelic core, and Alec opened up the angelic core, and it was great because it was really intense, because as they were doing it, Lilith was like creating new ones, and if the new ones reached Magnus, then the entire institute would go up. The entire institute would just be gone. To be fair though, I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen because all the main characters were inside the institute at the time. But it was still quite intense. It was still like, is he gonna get the lever up in time? Oh, he's putting on the strength rune. Are they gonna do it? And even after that scene, there's another funny scene where Alec goes like, oh, I did it. And then Magnus like, you did it? And he's like, oh, I might have had a bit of help. It's so great to see them so comfortable with each other. I love it. And then at the party, oh my god, I forgot the party. At the party, like, Alec with Madsy, it was so cute. Oh, it was so cute. It was so cute. I loved it. Papa Alec returns. And it was just great seeing them interacting with other warlocks at that party. Like, Alec obviously knew that there might be some hostility because he's a shadow hunter, but Magnus was just like, it'll be fine. And then Katarina was like, did you bring him just to piss Lorenzo off? And he was like, no, he's my boyfriend. And Katarina, while I'm saying that, when the ley lines were like fucking up everyone's powers, she turns blue. And that's very important because in the original books, Katarina is blue and she uses a glamour to look black. And people were like, why isn't Katarina blue? Why isn't Katarina blue? Well, you know what? She's blue now. She's blue when she can't, you know, control things. Are you happy? Are you happy? You better be, because they can't do any more than that, I think. I mean, they could paint her blue, but why? At this point in the show, there's no point in painting the actress blue, so this was probably their best way of sort of fixing that little problem. And I don't mind. I think it's alright. I wasn't bothered when Ragnar wasn't green. I'm not bothered that Katarina isn't blue all the time. You don't see everyone's warlock mark all the time anyway, so I'm gonna have to talk about something that's not Malec. Why? No, I don't mind talking about something that's not Malec. Jace took Clary on their first date, and as a Malec shipper, I did tune out quite a bit in a lot of the Clace bits and pieces, but I respect the fact that the ship hasn't been on a date yet, and it is very important that they get a first date. Malec got a first date, Clace should get a first date too. Are we going to start with the straight hate again? I hope not, because it was a funny scene, because they ended up in a double date together and it was so awkward, and Jace didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't know what a reservation was, he didn't know what Clary liked. It was very awkward but funny at the same time. I thought it was great. It was a very clever way to make it funny and emotional at the same time, because Jace had no idea what he was fucking doing. But don't think I didn't notice that Hunger Games ripoff. You double knot your shoelaces before you train. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, you always double knot your shoelaces. You never take sugar in your tea. You always leave your window open. And what was the other one? There was another one. I can't remember. But if it's on, as soon as Gia said that, that just immediately came into my head. And it was just like, I'm just kidding. Obviously, the Hunger Games and Peeta Mellark aren't the only ones who double knot their shoelaces in the history of literature. They're the only ones who have ever thought to double knot their laces. No, I know that's not the case, but I was a little bit like, huh? when I heard it, but I'm not fucked. They didn't steal it. It was just the first thing that came into my head when he said it, and kind of like the context of how they were saying it and stuff like that. It's like, look, I know you, kind of thing. But I'm not gonna be one of those people that are just like, sabotage! It's been ripped off! Get the friggin' lawyers in! No, they're too busy persecuting Cassandra Clare anyway. So that's it for First Thought, Shadowhunters, Angels and Downwatchers alike. There will be a fair and unbiased this week. I promise. There was just a last minute thing where my friend was going to be alone on her birthday, and I decided to stay on with her at her house. So I didn't get to film Fair and Unbiased for last week. But I will this week. I promise, because I have no life, and this week is just nothing. Just every so often a couple of events crop up, but then as soon as they're over, it descends into nothing. So I am completely got nothing to do this week. So Fair and Unbiased will come this week. So isn't that exciting? Yes. So if you want to keep up on updates like that, I post about updating and shit on my Twitter. Follow that, my Instagram, my Facebook page. I have a Malec Facebook page. Keep calm shit Malec if you just want to follow there. You don't have to, you don't want to. I don't want you there if you don't want to be there. And I'll see you in Fair and Unbiased, Shadowhunters, Angels and Downwatchers alike. And remember, didn't rip off the Hunger Games. Don't get the lawyers in.